For those of you that go to music festivals, how do you feel on day 4? You can sometimes not even hear your friend yelling at you. For those of you that have been to silent retreats, how open and expanded are you to sound in that first word that you say? Or after 4 days of fasting, that first sip of juice, right? So we go in and out of our consciousness being very large or very small, depending on the conditions that we've set for it. This is just one example. Another example of how our consciousness, our awareness fluctuates is based on learning. So every time we learn something new, it can actually change our perspective. For instance, if you're not a musician, a gardener, or a painter, this is just drums, these are just plants, healthy plants, and this is just a painting of some pirate ships, right? Well, if you're a musician, that's a tom, that's a snare, that's a crash, that's a hi-hat. If you're a gardener, this is dill, rosemary, basil, and mint. If you're an artist, this has a slew of issues with shadows. So every time we learn something new, we add a new neuron to this big brain of ours, what we see and perceive shifts. Now, the same goes for the opposite, right? Our consciousness can fluctuate to a state of dullness. For instance, any of us that have experienced being too drunk or too high, right? Things become a little foggy or a little dull. Even if you're underslept, overexhausted, right? We may not be perceiving everything that's there. Or if you have 6 screaming kids in another room, you may have become a master at doling out a lot of sounds.